Welcome back everyone, RacerX here, and today I wanted to do a quick video for you guys about a situation I was made aware of down in Houston, Texas with a Dodge dealership. And on my channel, I really do try and focus on being objective, kind of giving open, honest thoughts, being open-minded, and I try not to focus too much on negativity. Well, today is a bit of an exception, and while I didn't want to make this video, I feel like at this point it is very necessary because one of my subscribers got completely screwed. And part of it is because of my suggestion to deal with this dealership, and I feel partially responsible. It is a very upsetting situation, and I don't want this to happen to other people out there. So a lot of this is just for awareness as well. So if you guys are brand new to the channel, please do me a big gigantic favor, hit the subscribe button. You can find that right over here. And off we go. Now, I want to kind of set the stage and give you a little bit of context so you can understand the entire situation, because I don't want to miss anything. I want to kind of give you guys the complete picture. Initially, one of my longtime subscribers, Aiden, reached out to me on Instagram asking for my help. And while I can't necessarily help everybody, I made an exception for him. He wanted to buy his dream car, and he kind of told me the story. I thought it was really, really cool. He always wanted a Scat Pack. And of course, we know for 2023, that was the last year of the Hemi-powered L cars, the Chargers and the Challengers, and he knew if he didn't act that he was going to miss out on this. So he had been saving all of his money, decided, look, now is the time for me to go out there and buy one of these cars. And he had a very specific set of specs that he wanted on this car, right? He wanted a wide body, he wanted a black car, and he had very specific things he was looking for. And really, there were only a couple of cars out there that met his criteria. The last of these cars rolled off the assembly line at the very end of 2023, and they're just selling down. And like we had one in, I believe, Georgia, and of course we had one at Gulfgate Dodge Jeep Chrysler Ram on the southeast side of Houston. That is actually the closest dealership that had the car he wanted to him, and it was the best deal because he lives in California, in LA. So he was going to have this car shipped no matter what, but he wanted what he wanted. And I was happy to go ahead and put him together with the dealership, kind of set the tone there, had the price agreed to. I mean, I really tried to help him out as much as possible. He was so eager and so happy to kind of call up the dealership, get the deal done, and they did. They were able to come to an agreement. All the paperwork was signed. He set up all the stuff with the shipping company to actually pick the car up, have it shipped all the way to LA so that he could have his dream car. Now here is where things start to get interesting. So as one can imagine, Aiden is very excited at this point. He just made the agreement on his dream car that he had saved up for so long. Last of the lineage, I would be excited too. I know that when I purchase a brand new car that I've been excited about for forever, it's like you cannot sleep at night. And now he was actually in Ireland, which is home for him. And then he waited a couple of weeks to have the car delivered so he could be there to take delivery of the car. That's understandable. And everything was working great. He actually drove the car a little bit, immediately went out and spent $6,500 wrapping the car to protect the paint. Then he went ahead and did a ceramic coat. He went ahead and did PPF, spent all sorts of money making sure the car is perfect. This is a car that he has every intention on keeping forever. Doesn't want to get rid of it. This is a car that he really can't find back home in Ireland. And so this is a kind of a special thing for him. I'm excited for him. He's texting me as he's driving it, telling me how much he's loving it. And as he gets under the hood one day, he sees a yellow sticker under there that says 49 states certified. Well, being in California, that is a huge problem. California has its own set of laws. I will be honest with you guys, I've never lived in California, don't really have any desire to. I don't make $1 million a year, so I couldn't even afford to live out there. But he lives in LA, and all of a sudden now he's purchased a car, put a bunch of money into a car, and there's that yellow sticker that says it is not 50 state certified, it's only 49 state certified. So come to find out, Gulfgate Dodge actually sold him a car that he cannot register in California. Now that is only where the problems begin. At this juncture, Aiden has all sorts of money poured into this car. We'll call it a $60,000 purchase price. They also collected over $7,000 to pay the California taxes so that he can get it registered, all that good stuff. He's out the $6,500 on all the aftermarket stuff he put on there to keep the car in pristine condition. So we'll call it $74,000 he is out already on this car. That is a big chunk of change. I don't care who you are. I mean, that's a fair amount of money. And now he's got a car that he literally cannot register. Now, California has a bunch of really weird laws that you don't necessarily have to deal with in other states. And truth be told, this Scat Pack is literally the exact same Scat Pack that you would buy anywhere else, right? It's just that little bitty sticker under there that said it's not 50 states certified. Now, when you're talking about a dealer from Texas, oftentimes they won't pay the extra fee to go ahead and have it 50 states certified because they don't often sell cars out of state. But it doesn't really cost very much to have a car 50 states certified. Now, I can already hear it in the comments section, so I'm going to go ahead and tackle it really quick because some people are going to say, oh, look, it's Aiden's fault. The onus is on him. He should have known better. He lives in California. This dealership is in Texas, and the dealership shouldn't be at fault at all. And I could not disagree more. I mean, whenever you have a big reputable dealership, I can't really understand why you wouldn't pay that little bit of extra money coming right off the factory floor to have it 50 states certified. I realize Texas isn't all that close to California. I mean, I'm in Florida, and the dealership that I work with the most, I have never seen a single car come through that dealership that wasn't 50 state certified. And as I mentioned before, I mean, these cars are literally exactly the same. It's just a sticker on the car. They don't do anything else to it to make it more smog compliant and all that kind of stuff. It's just not a thing. It is literally just red tape at this point. But I really can't see how it would be Aiden's fault. I'm the one who recommended the car to him, and I fully expected it would be 50 state certified. All the cars that I have driven have been 50 state certified. Heck, even this 1,025 horsepower Demon behind me is 50 state certified. I mean, you could sell this to somebody in California without any issue. And now we have this dealership that sold him this car, knowing he's a California resident, knowing that they're shipping it to California, knowing that it's going to have to be titled in California, and they sent it to him, sold it to him, and then the thing arrives and he finds out that he can't get it registered, and now the dealership is putting it back on him. So just think about the ownership experience at this point for Aiden, who always wanted to buy his dream car. He's got $74,000 sunk into this thing. And now he's got a car that he literally cannot register in the state where he lives. He tried calling Stellantis time and time again, and it's just this revolving wheel of finger pointing and no results. And at the end of the day, they're basically just telling him, look, we would love to help you, but we can't, and you need to take this up with the dealership, which he has in multiple different ways on multiple occasions. Matter of fact, they just kind of kept pushing off on him. Oh, we'll find a solution. We'll find a solution. And they came up with a bunch of really weird solutions, a lot of which were illegal and just kind of from an ethics perspective way out there. They wanted him to open up an LLC, say in Nevada, so that he could register the car under the LLC name so that he could get out from under this California law. Well, that creates all sorts of tax problems. I mean, we could make a whole video on what a mess that could be. They also said, well, maybe you can find a friend that lives in a different state and you can register it under their name at their address. You can see, Aiden really didn't do anything wrong here. He purchased a car, spent all sorts of money, and they're coming up with all these cockamamie schemes to try and skirt California law. Well, in my mind, the only way around this would have been to buy the car back from him and find him a car that meets his needs, that meets his specs, and send that car to him. That is the only way to make this right. This is a dealership mistake. The dealership did admit that they made a mistake. And now, of course, like I said, he has no title. So he's driving around on temporary tags that are getting ready to expire and can no longer be extended. And then he's just going to have this car sit. What a great deal on your dream car. So the dealership has truly been giving him the runaround, only suggesting things that are essentially illegal and certainly ethically wrong. He is completely out of luck because the dealership just wants to wash their hands of him. Aiden actually reached out to the owner of the dealership, and he finally got a response out of the guy, basically just telling him, barring any sort of legal info he gets from his lawyer, he can't give him any other information or any other advice as to what to do. Essentially what that means is, guess what? It is your problem now. We're not taking any ownership of this. Good luck with it. And I have a monster problem with that. Obviously, a good ethical dealership should buy the car back, in my mind, or find a solution that will work for both of you. Aiden even suggested to the dealership that maybe they keep the car registered in Texas, But so the car's running around on legal Texas plates. It's registered to a Texas dealership. So it almost looks like it's part of like a loaner program. And then at 7,500 miles, it's a weird California law, but they can actually sell it to him as a used car where he can, even though it's not 50 state certified, he can actually do all the steps that are legally necessary to register the car. And then all this problem goes away. And the dealership simply wasn't willing to do that either. So he's basically screwed. Now, to be honest, this whole situation frustrates me as well because I feel partially responsible. After all, I'm the one that suggested this particular car at this particular dealership, and I assured Aiden after talking to the dealership that they would take good care of him, and this is what he's having to deal with. The runaround from Stellantis and the dealership basically being unresponsive, and when they do respond, not giving him really any recourse whatsoever. And now with the owner, James Davis, coming out and telling him, guess what? I'm going to talk to my lawyer, and until I get any other information from him, best of luck to you. I'll actually put that text up there on the screen so you guys can see exactly what he said. Essentially, they're offering him nothing at this point to try and get him taken care of. This is a really nasty situation, and he may have only one option at this point, which is to sue the dealership. How bad is that when you spend $74,000 of your own money on your dream car, and this is the experience that you get? One other quick little riffle that Aiden just told me about this morning, and yes, it is illegal, just another illegal thing the dealership has done, is they went ahead and paid the taxes, not in California. That's the money they collected back when he purchased the car. They paid the taxes in Texas, which he did not agree to, obviously, yet all of his paperwork says that he lives in California, which none of that's legal, as I mentioned. So it is really, really weird. It just keeps getting worse and worse for him. And yet the dealership, completely unresponsive. When he called the DMV, they actually verified. They said, no, that is absolutely illegal. When they sold you that car, that was not a legal thing for them to do. They cannot legally sell you a 49 state certified car if you are a resident in California, and they should have known better. Like I said, this is coming directly from the DMV in California. And he has just contacted everybody and done everything he knows how to do. Ultimately, he just has a car that he paid 74 grand for that is now a big paperweight that he cannot drive. This really sucks. So I really wanted to make this video just to make you guys aware of the entire situation when it comes to shipping a car into California, trying to get a title. You have to make sure that it is 50 state certified. That is something the dealerships should absolutely 100% do. And now the only way forward in my mind, and the thing that needs to happen is, one, the dealership needs to take ownership of the situation, realize that they made a mistake, and go ahead and make it right. And by making it right, I mean they need to just go ahead and buy this car back from Aiden and find him another car that meets his criteria, that meets his specs, and do whatever they can to send him out a brand new car, and then of course compensate him for that $6,500 that he already spent on the car. And that of course would make everything right. He could then title it in California without having to jump through all these crazy hoops and all this garbage because the dealership made a mistake. Okay, this is not his fault. And he's just basically a victim of all of this red tape and circumstance and the dealership just wanting to wash their hands of the situation. Well, we're not washing our hands of the situation. I'm trying to make everybody out there aware of what's going on. I plan on sending the URL for this video to Matt McAleer, who is the CEO of Dodge, and a bunch of the other folks I know at Dodge. And I'm going to send it to a few other people out there as well, including the owner of the dealership. And something needs to happen. We can't have him out there with this car that he can't drive, that he can't do anything with. We need to do what's right and what's fair and what's ethical for the customer. And so anyway, guys, like I said, this is just me giving you guys a little bit of information. It completely sucks. I hate that this happened, but it has to get righted, and I really hope that it does. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. So until then, RacerX.